They that hate me without a cause are more than the hairs of mine head. They that would destroy me, being mine enemies wrongfully, are mighty. In some cases. If the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. Now this message was sent to my wife by a co-worker from the school where we used to work. She used to work in that campus. And I quit because of the bullying. They were going to fire me anyway based on lies. And this was part of it. And I have already done a video on my meeting with the principal where the vice principal and the HR bitch were also present, where they lied about me and showed further hypocrisy and malice. But in this case, it was before that. This bitch co-worker from South Africa, a Dutch woman probably, racially. Not that everyone Dutch is bad, but that's what she is. She's misrepresenting her race. She sent this message to my wife, which I didn't know about until my wife informed me. My wife did not like the message because she's telling my wife that she's not loved. She's making my wife feel worthless. It says motivational speech, but it's not motivational in this context. It's demotivational because she's bullying the husband, me. She's telling my wife that her husband doesn't love her, even though my wife knows that I love her, like last night. So this woman who pretended to be friendly with me, who hid her hatred, I confronted her about this when I was standing to greet students. I was calm, but this bitch was not calm. When I exposed her for bullying me and trying to undermine my marriage like the weasel and snake that she is, I was calm. I just said something like this: Teacher, why did you send my wife this message saying that she's not loved by me? You're saying I don't love her. And then this bitch had a tantrum. She's like, not everything is about you. I said, where or when did I say that not everything is about me? So the bitch committed a strawman fallacy. And why did she hate me? Why? It's because I disciplined my wife the biblical way. The Bible says, spare the rod, spoil the child. If you don't beat a rebellious child, you spoil them. And guess what? Children are the slaves of the father and the mother. The Bible never says that all slavery were wrong. When the Egyptians took the Hebrews captive, that was wrong because the Hebrews did nothing deserving slavery in that case. Not by the Egyptians anyway. So, not all slavery is wrong. You have to look at the context. Children are slaves of their parents. A slave is someone who has to obey orders. But guess what? Slaves have to be provided for. So slavery isn't always wrong. It's not always bad either. When I was the son of my, under the roof of my parents, I had to obey them. I didn't always obey them, and I regret when I failed. And I used to be a brat. I used to be liberal. Because the U.S. indoctrinated me to have low liberal standards of ethics, where drunkenness is not a crime, even though it is, by God's higher standard, where feminism is right, even though it's rebellion and ruins families. So this bitch was confronted. She had the tantrum in front of customers, the parents bringing their children to the school, the indoctrination center. But I was calm, and there were cameras which proved that I was calm. All I did was say, why are you bullying me? And for this, I had to go to a meeting where they told me I'm not allowed to defend myself because they're evil. So this bitch had a tantrum and she stormed off when she was still supposed to stay standing for more minutes. She didn't do her job. She stormed off, had a tantrum, caused the scene. She did that, not me. I was calm and the cameras proved it. But the ones with access to the cameras were other evil bullies against me. The principal at first was neutral. But then he took the side of the vice principal, who is good at manipulating idiots like him. Maybe she bribed him since she's rich. And I think he was also afraid of all of the libtard teachers who hated me when they found out, because I declared it. I wasn't ashamed, and I'm still not ashamed, because there's nothing to be ashamed of, that I disciplined a rebellious wife. But of course, there are feminazi idiots who don't question what they're taught, and they think it's all right for the woman to rebel, even though that's a crime to God. It's a crime to rebel against your husband. And for me to punish her, as God says I should, that's the right thing to do. But, these are liberals, and logic doesn't apply to them, because they care only about emotions, and they flip reality upside down. They say that the victim is the victimizer, and the victimizer were the victim. Woe to those who call good evil, and who call evil good. By the way, my wife stays with me because she knows that I love her. My wife chose me above the feminazi, lesbian, truth-phobic vice principal, who, because my wife chose me over her, envied and hates, utterly abhors me. At first she was nice to me, but after I invited her to my wedding, she threatened violence against me, said she would break my balls. And the principal actually told her she had to apologize, but later he took her side. Because he's weak-minded, easily manipulated. So I had to sign a paper, but I refused to sign it because the paper said that I was doing an altercation. An altercation is a very heated, angry argument. Even though I'm angry now, this is YouTube. And I'm talking to strangers right now. Although I'm going to send this video to my wife also, God willing, so she can remember what happened and see how funny it is to depict that bitch as a pig, because she looked like a pig, and So anyway, what was I saying? Got distracted by the pig face of the vice principal. So I had to sign a paper, but I refused to sign it. And then they had to redo the paper, reword it, but instead of fixing the false accusations, which included that I was doing the altercation, she said I had an altercation with a coworker. Notice the coworker was not punished for this. They never said anything about punishing her. She was not at a meeting discussing this altercation that was against me. I did not do the altercation, because an altercation is a very heated argument. Although I'm heated now, when I was standing in front of parents and students and next to that bitch, because I had to be, I was calm, and the cameras proved it. They never showed the camera footage because they knew that the light proves me right. The physical light recorded by those cameras proved me right, but they love darkness. So anyway, here is the recording of when I went to the vice principal without knocking on the door, because I was pissed off at her because she was bullying me and lying about me, trying to destroy me, trying to get rid of me, which, yes, she succeeded in doing because I quit before they could fire me. And by the way, she tried to commit extortion, telling me that if I didn't sign the paper, she would not give me my money. However, I circumvented her inferior power by going to the headquarters of the school and getting my money through the main HR people. And I exposed her and I filed a complaint, etc. And that's why the principal also was angry. But anyway, here's the recording of when I went to the vice principal. By the way, during this time, she was always, or almost always, avoiding eye contact because she's a coward. And she was afraid of me, so she called for the HR bitch, and that woman is a bitch because she's rude. She called for her to come in. And after I said, "Do you have anything else to say?" I left. So listen. I enter. You said altercation, but that's implying that I was very aggressive, and that's not true.
Teacher, it's up to you if you will sign it or not. If you
have video proof that I did not have an altercation. She was the aggressive one, and there is video proof.
Teacher, the thing is, You brought up personal issue. Okay? Anyway, I will call because yeah, can you come here? It led to it because you brought up personal issues.
Which people do all the time in the school. Like you yourself in this very office when you said that you were going to break my balls. You hypocrite.
Did you understand what I said?
She changes the subject.
Okay. You know what?
Then she says she
I
will
ask your department head.
ask the department head, but the department head is another bully who ignores
So,
that I was bullied and actually bullied me also.
There's video proof that I'm innocent in your life. Anything else? No? I think.
He said, anything else? She said nothing more, then I left. The righteous are bold as a lion. So, at a different date later on, when I quit because they were going to fire me anyway, and there was no justice there, I was still in the Telegram groups of the school, in several, so I decided to give them a piece of my mind before I left, because it would be a great shame if I didn't take advantage of that once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So this evil vice principal, who claims to follow Jesus, mind you, claims to follow Jesus yet is a lesbian, is a truth phobe, rainbow thief, crooked, not straight person. There were homosexual teachers there. As far as I know, they didn't claim to follow Jesus. They were drug addicts. They were drug addicts and drunkards. But no, I'm the bad guy. But those homosexuals, I respected them because they didn't claim to follow Jesus. I didn't have to judge them. And they were not bullying me as far as I know. But this bitch here, this shit stain, monster, daughter of Satan, who, by the way, I found out that she was molested as a little girl by her uncle, and that's why she hates men. Although she hides it in the case of the principal, because she's a fake bitch. She hates men, and so she wants to believe that I'm evil and that I chose my wife with an ulterior motive, even though I love my wife, and I've given her more money than she's given me. And my wife is still with me because my wife knows that I love her. Anyway, this bitch claims to follow Jesus, so I'm right to judge her publicly and humiliate her as follows. She's like, we're all proud of you, after some event. Shut up, fake, truthful bully bitch, you're going to hell. So satisfying to say this, and everyone got notified who was in this Telegram group. And I got the screenshot because I knew they were going to delete it soon. Within 5 minutes, it was deleted. But as you can see, they saw it. Bitch! And over here, the evil coworker who complained because I complained about her bullying. Well, she's like, noted, sir, thank you. Shut up, bitch. Oh, so satisfying. So satisfying. And look, they're so lazy they don't put garden. It's kindergarten, not just kinder. The word kinder is kinder. Who says kinder? Lazy. And then over here, you have this woman. She's a heretic. She's so loud and obnoxious. Doesn't care about other people trying to work. But she claims to follow Jesus. And she would even sing religious songs. Because she's a Pharisee type, minus the knowledge. And her husband is a cuck. And he wanted to shake hands with me. Probably to grip really hard and hurt my hand. I refused to shake his hand when he told me I was wrong to discipline my wife. That cuck shouldn't give me advice on marriage when he's a cuck. Your wife runs the show there. You cuck. So I told them, your money has no worth in hell. Jesus justified beating disobedient slaves, you cherry-picking, libtard hypocrites and heretics. Let the proud be ashamed. Paul said, God shall smite thee. Jesus called them hypocrites. Hypocrites, children of hell. Ye generation of vipers. God scorneth the scorners.